Does anybody have a question right now on one of the local lakes?
How about Genesee County?
Genesee County? Shoot, I'll try it. I've been in a lot of lakes up there. Panema, I've fished Panema a bunch. When you go right on the boat launch there at Panema, you got that small little island right there. I used to have a duck blind on the back of that island. Panema's got some big smallies in it, believe it or not. And some great walleyes in there, and there's some big largemouth in there. It's probably not my favorite lake. It's been tough for me over the years, a few times that I've been out there. But if you come out of the boat launch, you go straight across, you got that big bay that's way back in there. There's some good largemouth fishing back in there. In the fall, great spinnerbait bite back in there. Voorhees is a private lake. Yep. I've fished Voorhees a bunch. I have several friends that live on Voorhees. I actually grew up right here in Lake Orion, so I've been on Voorhees a bunch of times. Huge largemouth. And there's some smallies in Voorhees. In fact, there's been a few smallies released in Voorhees over the years that I know of. And I've scuba dived in Voorhees. Not very well, I'll mind you. Don't ever ask me to help you in the tank here, Scott, because you'll see me sink to the bottom. We did a little bit of spearing for carp in Voorhees with the flippers and the mask and the whole scuba stuff, you know. And I was amazed when I saw some of the smallies that are in Voorhees. That's a good lake. Phenomenal dock lake, Voorhees is. Absolutely. Gets pretty busy during the daytime, you know. But if you can get out there in the evenings or early morning, especially weekdays, phenomenal fishery. And then that connects right into Lake 16 there. And Lake 16 is a lake that's overlooked a lot. And it's gotten better over the years because they've taken Lake 16 and made it a no gas lake, so you can't put a gas motor on there. So everything's electric motor only. So it kind of calms the lake down a little bit, makes it a little bit nicer. The access isn't as easy to get to as it used to be, because all along Joslyn Road there, it used to be all nothing but access. Now there's one access and you have to have a stamp to get in there now, which makes it a little bit nicer. So, but don't overlook Lake Orion, or Lake 16, it's got some huge ones in there too, yes. Davison Lake, yes I have. That's one of my favorite bluegill lakes in the springtime. Absolutely. I go up there with a fly rod. It's the only way I can fly fish is in the springtime when I only have to lay it out there about 5 feet, 6 feet. My kid's out there laying out 60 feet of line, you know, whatever. Not me. No, I go with my boat. Absolutely. It's a big bowl and it's very deep. There was rumors years ago that one of the state record largemouths came out of Davison Lake. I fished it a bunch for largemouth after that had happened, and I have yet to catch anything over 3 pounds. But I know there's some good ones in there. I've heard of 5 and 6 pounders coming out of there, but they're tough to catch. It's definitely a deep water fishery, no doubt about it. Yes, sir.
I have a question, and it probably would help a lot of tournament fishermen and even the weekend angler. That's to do with like the river systems and creeks that run through the lake, like Lake Oakland. You know, a lot of these bodies of water, when you get the map, the creeks are running and winding through these bodies of water, like connecting Oakland to Woodhull.
Sure.
When you get on the bodies of water, I have difficulty myself locating these creeks, and I hear that a lot of them are silted in. Could you share some information with us on maybe how to locate what's left of the creeks, or even how you would go about trying to find out whether or not they're even still in there, or is it worth a while?
So you're saying looking for that creek bed that's actually coming from the creek out into the lake, looking for the actual creek bed in the lake. Yes. Your electronics are going to be the #1 way of finding that creek bed, obviously. Topo map is what I'd be my top recommendation for finding that creek bed first and foremost. To get on your topo maps, and that gives you your landlines. Now the other thing that you need to look at is look at your shorelines, okay? A lot of people forget that the shoreline tells a big story about what's in that lake, all right? Perfect example down at Kentucky Lake. If you look at the shoreline on Kentucky Lake or Barkley, you can see where that creek channel comes through the lake just by looking at the shoreline up ahead of you as you're running down the lake. Yes, they have it buoyed, and yes, they have it markered, which they don't in a lot of these local lakes. But if you look at the shoreline and kind of see what that's doing and kind of envision what the bottom of that lake looks like, that'll help you kind of narrow down what area you need to look at. Then you need to go to your electronics, definitely. In Oakland and in Woodhull, I used to live on Woodhull Lake. In Oakland and Woodhull, there is a creek channel, but it tends like on Oakland, that creek channel comes out, but you got that sharp turn right there where it comes out. And over the years, from them putting the dams in and whatnot, it's changed a lot of that over the years, I think. Whereas if you go over to Kent Lake, there's a definite creek channel in Kent Lake. In Oakland, I don't think there's a definite creek channel. I've fished that lake from A to Z, both ends, all over it. I don't think there's so much a definite creek channel in there. Now in Woodhall, if you go down to the far end of Woodhall after you come through the tunnel there, and you cut down to the far end, there is a creek channel that shoots out into the lake there. But again, that creek channel kind of depletes because of what they've done over the years with the other road there. What is that, Waterford Road, I think, runs across that creek channel there. And I think they kind of destroy the current in the way that it was naturally running at one time. But Kent Lake and lakes like that, even Kent Lake, if you look at the lay of the land around the lake, you can kind of tell where that creek channel is going to go, you know, most certainly.